Make sure there is no disconnect between your internal and external confidence. One thing I noticed about people with brittle self-esteem is the fact that they actually have a disconnect between their external confidence and their inner confidence. A lot of people have estimations of themselves, but they're also not stupid. They can see that they suffer from the Dunning-Kruger effect. They think that they are the best thing since sliced bread. But the moment they step up and try to get results going, they fall short. They're not dumb. They know that there is this disconnect between how highly they think of themselves and their abilities and what they're able to achieve in their results. At best, they are mediocre. What happens then is that there is a distinct break between the confidence that they project, which is still very high, can still open a lot of doors and set the people at ease and get the ball rolling. Unfortunately, this is paired with a dubious inner confidence. Their confidence wavers. It doesn't feel quite right. It can't make up its mind. It can be very flighty. This is just one manifestation of the disconnect between internal and external confidence. Be aware of this disconnect and its many different forms. The ever-present imposter syndrome. I had a business associate in the past who was a very successful Kindle author. This person's books on Kindle sell really well. He easily makes six figures year after year. Unfortunately, he thinks he's the biggest fraud in the world. He outsources his books to third-party ghostwriters. He basically does the research and he lets the writers flesh out the books, which he then publishes under his name. I talked to him about this and I said to him, "What you're doing is really not much different from what big-name authors do. I can count with many fingers big-name self-help authors who use ghostwriters. It's the best-kept secret in the industry. But this person still thinks he's a fraud. This is called the imposter syndrome. These people are very competent. Let me tell you, 99% of other Kindle authors in his niche or his genres can't hold a candle to what he does. Sure, he doesn't write his own stuff, but he shapes the books. He applies his own distinct personality to them. He edits key parts. They become part of his brand. This brand did not come out of nowhere. He wasn't handed this author platform. He had to write his own books himself before he started making good enough money to outsource the rest of his publishing empire. That is competence. Unfortunately, if you suffer from a disconnect between your internal and external confidence, imposter syndrome is one of the symptoms. It can be very debilitating. In fact, if you don't deal with it, it can lead to all sorts of nasty self-fulfilling prophecies. Focus on objective results first. The key to solving any kind of disconnect is to focus on objective results first. Can you get the job done? Are you a best-selling author or not? Are you at the top of your law school class or not? Are you at least in the top 10%? Did you write a medical report that gets the job done or not? Focus on these black and white objective results first. This goes a long way in getting you to focus on what you should be focusing on instead of just letting your feelings get the better of you. Let's face it, they can run rampant. They can be all over the place as far as your feelings go. Competence, on the other hand, is objective. It can often be reduced to black and white. Internalize the intensity of your objective results. Now that you can see just by looking at your bank account that you can get stuff done, at least when it comes to business, or when you look at the beautiful women you come home with every time you go to a social gathering, internalize these results. I know you may be feeling at some level or other that you are an imposter. You may be thinking to yourself, why is this hottie going home with me? I'm a total abject failure and loser. Displace that inner monologue by internalizing the intensity of your objective results. You're doing something that most guys wish they could do, okay? The fact that you can go home with a woman that looks exactly like Kate Upton is a victory in and of itself because most guys cannot achieve what you're doing. You just met her and now you're going home with her. Take the win. Live a life of total emotional and psychic integrity. Now, integrity is a big word, but the integrity I'm talking about here is the alignment between your internal and external confidence. You have to line them up. You can't just say you're the biggest fraud or imposter in the world. You feel crappy, but you are very competent. They have to line up because this is the key to unleashing even more powerful waves of confidence that lead to much better results. Again, this is an upward spiral, and this is not just limited within that inch-wide and miles-deep segment of your life or several of them in your life. I'm talking about across the board. Confidence is something you do. I know I've said this before, but confidence is something that you do. What exactly does it do? Confidence enables you to project your wishes to the world. I wish to be a contract poultry farm owner. I wish to become a best-selling Kindle author. I wish to become the best mother I can be. There are many things you can project out, but confidence enables you to project clearly and then do them. The more you do it, the more confident you become, and the more things fall into place. It's not going to be smooth. Don't expect to hit a home run the first time you swing the bat. But the more you do, the more opportunities you give yourself to be competent. This leads to you thinking that you are more and more competent. This changes what you say, which again leads you to improving what you do. Real confidence is not the following. Let me tell you, real confidence is not bragging. I can't even begin to tell you how many dinner parties I've gone to, and sure enough, it's usually the loudest person there that has the least money, gets the least action, drives a very fancy car with only $5 in gas, is up to his or her neck in debt. You name it. Real confidence is not bragging. If you are truly competent, you keep it to yourself. The results speak for themselves. You're a cut above. Real confidence is nothing to bang a gong about. There's no need for that because you're playing for an audience of one. You know you can get things done. There's no need for you to whip out a Hermes bag or parade around in Prada or Armani. You can if you want to do that. That's part of your personality. But in terms of reminding yourself of your confidence, you don't need to go there. You can leave the bombast at home. Real confidence, in turn, is calm, assured, and self-controlled. In fact, the more you take control over it, the less you feel the drive to let everybody know that you are competent and confident. Just think about it. Even if everybody thinks you're the best thing since sliced bread, that's not really going to help you because deep down inside, you know that you suck. We're not dealing with group hypnosis here. Real competent people know what they're about, and they couldn't care less about their circumstances because their circumstances did not make them. Other people's backslapping, compliments, and favorable descriptions of you do not make you. You made yourself. That's real power.